What's going on, guys? Welcome to Delusional's Arcade and welcome to Dell's Roundtable. So I have everybody here. Let me go ahead and unmute the peanut gallery over here so they can talk and and participate. What's going on, guys?
Hey.
What's up, Dell?
There we go. We got Jeff Kinder. I can hear a little tiny bit of an echo. If you guys can shut down their YouTube in the background, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So we got Jeff Kinder, we got Kapow, we got Gibby, and we got the Robert Harker as himself. Just like Jeff. He's trying to be Jeff Kinder. It's the Jeff Kinder as well.
Or you can leave it at Gumby510. That's easy to find. Being on social media and all the social creds out there.
Oh, Jeff is getting covered up on my face over here.
Oh, that's okay. I'll scoot up. This way. There we go. Here.
There we go. Yeah. And then, of course, when somebody joins in Zoom fashion, Zoom doesn't give a crap, and it'll just like rearrange everybody and screw everything up.
You don't have to like scoot down.
So we got a ton of people in chat. I see Kapow. Jason, you just entered. By the way, Kapow has a great arcade channel he's starting up called Kapow's Arcade Adventures, where he basically goes and travels either by himself or through his job or whatever, and he basically visits arcades while he's out there. It's amazing. Now that they're starting to open up after the pandemic, it's really neat, some of the stuff that he does. He does walkthroughs, so check him out. Also, we are on Discord, so if you guys want to go to the Discord server, the link is down below in the description. So you probably have to X out chat. You'll see the description, hit the arrow to go down, and you'll see the link right there. If you guys want to post, links or anything like that, I know YouTube doesn't allow you to do that, so feel free to do it there if we need to talk about something. And also, feel free to leave show ideas there as well for the future. So, first thing we'll do, I guess, I don't think Mike's here yet. I know that Tim guy can't make it this week, so he'll be in next time. But anyway, so anybody with updates? We'll start with that just until people come in. Who wants to go first?
Kapow.
He's muted.
You're muted, Kapow.
Let's get the flow going here.
There we go.
Updates? What? All right. So all you guys that are part of Roundtable, Troy and I picked up this Missile Command Cabaret that I've been working on. I pulled it all apart. Everything is done now. I got my side art in yesterday from Escape Pod. I'm actually putting a custom Cabaret side art on it. I don't like wood grain. Sorry for you guys that are out there that love wood grain. I do not happen to be one of them. So I'm customizing my Missile Command Cabaret. It's all primed, ready to go. Hoping to get the art put on this week. Get it all put back together and move it into the arcade. So that's really the only update I have. That's all I've been working on.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really funny because that's what really sparked this discussion about the form factor and high scores, because the Cabaret, you're like, hey, man, the trackball's smaller on this. There's only one world record out there. They don't really take into account the trackball size and all that. So we'll talk about that later. We'll get into it. So, all right, who's next?
I'll go. First, I just want to say hello to my beautiful bride, Katie. She should be watching right now. She said she was going to be watching us live.
Yay!
Hi, Mom. No.
I've been working on a Star Wars cabinet for the past, I don't know, about 2 months or so. I'm at the point now where last weekend I put the wiring harness back in it. I just picked up the control panel from the powder coater, so I'm going to be putting the overlay on that and getting that all back together. Tomorrow, I am going to be cutting out the marquee piece, the wood that goes behind that holds the glass in place on this cabinet. It was all broken, so I'm going to be making a new. It's actually 2 pieces of wood. I'm going to be making that whole new section tomorrow from scratch. So that's going to be fun. And I'm hoping to wrap this cabinet up by December sometime. So
Cool. Yeah, I'll be there to shoot a little bit of it because
Yes.
I'll be bringing my camera tomorrow. I'm hanging out with Jeff tomorrow. I'm working on my Ring King. It's no secret, I was going to announce it on the channel and stuff, but just because I've been so busy, I just changed the format where you can even ask Jeff. I just set up my camera and just don't even talk. I just work. So we're doing I'll just do a time lapse and I'll probably, do a voiceover or something talking about it. But in the background, you see Jeff working on his, and his is coming out way better than mine, of course, because he's like, pristine. You're like so anal about all the stuff that you do, but it comes out great. Like when he sands, I mean, I felt it felt like glass, when you were sanding it, because you wanted to usually put the side art directly on the wood. I like to paint it. It's more of a pain, but you were telling me that if you just use real fine grit, that thing will never come off for years.
Yeah, I did.
Cool.
The Star Wars has got black vinyl, and then the side art on top of that, on top of the vinyl.
Right. So that's one you had in your arcade for years, though, right? You're just redoing it now, or
Star Wars? No, I got.
I thought you did.
Yeah, a friend of mine gave me the cabinet about a year and a half ago or so, and it just sat in storage until just recently when I got all the pieces together to put it, to get it together.
I got to rewatch my video because I'm looking on the left there, and I know I thought you had it in your Atari row there. I guess not.
Yeah.
We gotta start knocking your house, start knocking the walls out to make it bigger, to make that row huge, because it's like, what do you want to get rid of? It's like, I like them all,
Yeah, that's the problem.
Scarlet Sprites, thank you for the donation for the channel.
Oh, did he do something? Hey, man, what's going on? Yeah, you need to come on the show one of these days. I know he does, and I can help you too, because I had so much trouble with this external mic here syncing up, and I finally figured it out. So if you need help with that, it worked out for me. But I was like, ask these guys this whole summer. I was like, hey, let's do a test. Oh, this isn't working right. Let me sync up my audio, and finally it's working right. So
he's got to show us that G.I. Joe, man. That thing's beautiful.
Oh, he just released a video today.
Yeah, I saw it.
Got to check it out. It's like a video montage. It's really cool.
Yeah, that thing's real
so I'm looking at the
beautiful to
chat
look
over here. Yeah, so welcome Omega Mark. Scarlet Sprites is here as well. Command the Line said he's coming in. I think he said, yeah, he's joined in. He just had to clock in. Nice job there. Who else? I think Barricade was here earlier. Brian Frober. Shout out to Brian. He helped me out the last couple days iron out the bugs with this. He was like my guinea pig, where I'd say, all right, see what you see on YouTube. And he helped me with the Discord server as well. Northeast Mike, who hopefully will be here a little later, helped me out too with that. So it was really cool. Let's see. Who else do we have here?
Sam's Arcade.
Yeah, Jay's. Yep. Oh, is Sam here?
Sam
Did I miss him? Oh, yeah. Sam's Arcade Fix. Yeah. Cool.
Brian
What's going on?
Frober, what's up, man?
He wrote, woohoo.
Yep.
I think YouTube Punk was here earlier, even before it started. He wrote, let's go, and put a whole bunch of O's, because he loves when I stream live and stuff. So cool. All right. So let me switch back over here to all of us, and Gibby's back. So who's next? You, Rob or Gibby?
I can go.
Well,
I mean, I restored
yeah, go
like
ahead.
3 games. Y'all were slacking this week, but somebody had to do it.
Go get him, Gibby.
Yeah, that's a damn lie too. I've been working all week. No, I did real boring stuff this week. Just organized a whole buttload of chips that I had in the stash. Putting them in the little drawers and the little labels, and started messing with the video pinball board, and no luck so far getting that working. Tried the new RAM, and that didn't work.
Weren't you talking to Sean Dotson about that? Classic Arcade Repairs, right?
He thought it was a RAM issue, but it ended up not being. So back to the drawing board on that. So I ordered some more chips and try a couple different things and see what might stick, but we'll see.
Right. Well, you were on a roll, like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. You were fixing like one game after another. Like, you were off and you're like, check it out, I fixed it. And then you go on to the next look, I fixed this too. I was like, holy crap.
He was my muse. He inspired me to actually work on stuff.
But then I get to the black and white game and it just dead in my tracks. So, oh well.
Cool. All right, so Rob, I know you were telling us that you were working on things today.
You left out a very update. Last Saturday night, we spent the whole evening drinking beer and
we did do. Yeah, yes.
Hundreds of arcade manuals.
That's right. I actually asked, I don't know if you're going to do it, but when you come up, I know he's going to be up next month. If you want to bring a box or two or whatever, I'll just do some unboxings here. I have like this whole, setup on the side now where I can do it on that down camera, like we were talking about, and then I'll just do your homework for you. And then I'll present you with a nice organized box with everything all organized.
We actually found some pretty unique things like in the boxes of stuff.
Where did you get so many manuals?
What was the one we found? It was a Mach 3?
Mach 3 press kit.
Like a promotional pamphlet that they gave out to the operators when this game came out, and it was this nice like 8x10 picture of it was a pilot named Steve Ritchie, not Steve Ritchie, the pinball guy, but it was a pilot who was very well known. Jay can probably tell us more about him. But
last American fighter.
Really cool little packet we found.
Are you saying
if you want
pirate?
What's that, Jeff?
Are you saying pilot or pirate?
Pilot.
Yeah,
Pilot.
He was a fighter job. Pilot during.
Arg, I'm gonna fly this at Mach 1. Arg.
Yeah, I thought you were talking. Mighty.
Yeah, he shot down 5 enemy aircraft, and he was the last American fighter pilot to obtain the title of ace. And when Mach 3 came out, when it was in its development, they actually had him test fly the game to see how realistic it was. So like Troy said, as part of this press kit was a photo of him standing with the arcade cabinet with his flight uniform on and his helmet with a little narrative about him underneath it. It was actually just really cool.
Speaking of which, Sam's Arcade Fix says he has a Mach 3 press kit as well.
Nice.
Can you believe that?
You know, it was just very odd that the guy's name was Steve Ritchie.
I know. I remember you telling us we're like, not that Steve Ritchie. It's the Steve Ritchie, the pilot. Yeah.
I need a copy of that for the DLP site, Troy.
Okay. Yeah, we can get that.
Yeah. And if you want, Troy, you can send me the pictures too. I'll share them on Instagram and stuff. So if you guys want to check it out, I have a Instagram account. You can just check out here. I have, Twitter as well. I'm just at Dell's Arcade. It's both the same handles on there. So check me out on that, and I'll just post them so you guys can check it out. But yeah, neat stuff. Like when I saw it, I was like, holy cow, I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, I can grab the photo and the packet and show it to everybody if they want to see it, but not that, you know.
Actually still alive, believe it or not.
Yeah, he is still alive, yep. But yeah, I've got probably 20 bankers boxes full of different manuals and old catalogs and log books and everything from some old operator. And he had bought out a couple other operators, so it's packed full of good stuff in there.
So Sam said that his press kit also has the photo.
No, I was asking you, where did you get all those manuals? From operator raids?
Yeah, it was from an old warehouse. The guy was shutting it down, and I picked up quite a few things from him. A lot of cool marquees and artwork, and he didn't really have a lot of cabinets left, but I picked up a couple cabs, but nothing of any significance. But the manual boxes, that was, I mean, probably a few $1,000s worth of manuals in there at least.
More than a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. You can preserve arcade history by scanning them and stuff, because there's some that just you can't find them anywhere, like Mach 3, like he was saying, DLP, the website, you can just post it on there and it'll help people out.
Yeah, I think we have that manual. I just was talking about that press kit.
It's pretty cool.
Just
I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Sam's Arcade Fix says he has a photo in that press kit, by the way. Nice.
I did scan in.
Hey, welcome, Dominic. He said, what's up? Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I said I did scan in Jump Bug manual and put that on Claw because everybody.
Oh, that's not available? I didn't know. Nice.
Well, it is now.
Good job, Gibby.
Well, I put it on about a month or two ago, but yeah.
So now it's Rob's turn for the update.
Just going down my deep dive of versus Nintendo stuff. Buying more boards. Picked up a gun, untested. Of course, it didn't work. They usually don't work. I sent the gun out to Tony Swan and had him rebuild it. So he sent that off in the mail. So I can be able to play some Duck Hunt in Hogan's Alley. Buying more boards as usual. I don't like switching, pulling out games and chips. So I pretty much have multiple boards with different games on them. This last board that I picked up from a gentleman who actually said it was working, but it wasn't. It worked technically, but there was no sound. So, and I'm going to blame Jay Leone because when I opened it up, all he did was ship it to me in a box that was from Jay, but he got it from Jay. So more than likely got it from one of them little auctions that Jay was running with John. So I just basically started going on Clav researching. Usually the first to go is the amps, the 3900 amps chips, the 14-pin chip. Swap those out, no change. And the next down the line would be the two switches. They're 4066s, also 14-pin. So bought two of those. Those are on eBay. You can't buy them from Peter Arcade Parts and Repair. I got the 3900s from him, but the 4066s are sold out. He said he's back, with the supply chain and all. So he's pretty, they're got to go to eBay. So, and I wasn't going to buy anything from China. So I ended up having to pick them up on eBay. So they're like $12 for two.
Yeah, you got to be careful regardless anyway, because of like that counterfeiting crap. It sucks. Like, I try to figure out, like, why would people counterfeit like a 10-cent chip?
Yeah. Yeah. So this evening I went over to Henry at Sharp Image Repair. He runs a local monitor, arcade repair shop here in Vegas. So if you guys need your monitors worked on or chassis, you can send it to him. You'll work on that. So I just went over there and he popped in the chief, socketed the 4 chips I needed, and then I just brought it back home and then trial and error until I got my sound working. So that's one board checked off that's actually working. So now it's 3 total I have. This board will be for Balloon Fight. So I'll have a Balloon Fight board. Then I got a multi-kit on one of the other ones with Verse Goonies and Gradius. And then the other board I have is Castlevania and Excite Bike, I think I'm running on there, or Ice Climber. So, and I'll probably pick up another board to throw in some other games in it, just kind of without having to pull the chips off and stuff. So
how many versus games?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I was just saying, how many versus games did they have? It was, was there like 20 of them or 30 of them?
Yeah, I'd say about if you go to John's Arcade, he's got a whole breakdown of all the games and what PPUs they use. And if I want to say off the top of my head, I want to say about maybe 18 or so. Most of them, suck. Like golf, I have running in here, and soccer, terrible. But then there's classics. There's Ice Climber, Verse Wrecking Crew, Balloon Fight. And then of course the ones we know, like Excite Bike and Super Mario Brothers. So then there's a lot of good ones in there. But who's going to play Top Gun? You know what I mean? So
Super Sky. Yeah. That's a great one. I love that one.
Well, either way, they're going to be worth a lot of money, no matter what. Even if you, let's say, like, well, I'm going to get 10 boards down the line. Anything like this everything's starting to go up in price. No matter
I paid $220 for a broken board, and it had one PPU on it. It had a Hogan's Alley and an 01 PPU. So you just pretty much look down the line. All right, what games can I burn that will work with the 01? And then I had golf and then soccer. I had an 03. I just popped in there just to test. So this will be the Balloon Fight you need one board to run Balloon Fight because it's a head-to-head game, one on each monitor. I have a red team, right. So I have a dual system.
Well, you have that PPU selector too, right?
That thing is awesome. If anybody out there, you can check out on my channel. I did a review. I think it's Arcade Mod BIOS. It's a guy in the Netherlands does it. It's just a PPU changer. You pop it in there. It's got dips settings in there. You pick you just flip a dip to what the PCB is expecting. Flip it what you want it to run, and it'll run. And the colors are
that's
fine.
Amazing.
So
that's amazing. And it's like what? It's $100, something like that.
It was $150 that I paid because he didn't have any. I emailed him and said, "Hey, I need one of these." He says, "I got to get the parts." So once he got the parts, then I saw it on eBay for $125, and I haven't looked lately. I think he's sold out again. But if you email the guy or go directly to my channel, there's a link to the video, then you can get in contact with him. And I think I'm going to buy another one because, like Duck Hunt PPUs, like you can't find them, and they're also using the Play Choice 10s. They're just not around. So, and you can also use that to switch to I think it's RPC03. So you can run that and run whatever.
Rob, Seafella 1974 has got a question for you. He says, I'm curious about your opinion on Play Choice 10 compared to Nintendo Versus. Most of those Versus games can be played on the Play Choice 10.
Yes, they can, but if you play them, they look like you played them on the Nintendo. They're different.
Yep.
Think
I was about to say they're
Castlevania-
totally different.
They're totally different. Like, Super Mario Brothers is completely different. You have the lost levels, which is in the verses. I did see, if you will see some graphical differences, they did use the same sound. So the sounds are the same, but graphically they're a little bit different. But I do agree. You can play them, but they're not it's just not the same. So Excite Bike, there's a bonus level in Excite Bike and versus Excite Bike versus the Nintendo version. What else? There's
Super
subtle
Mario, right?
differences.
At the beginning, there's like a 1-up that you can get, and I think in Versus it doesn't have that. It does something else.
No, it's not there. Yeah, then the levels
Yeah.
are different. So,
think-
but to each his own. I will say the Play Choice 10 gives you more versatility to run those games and hundreds more out there. At PC10.com, you can pretty much put whatever Nintendo cart you want on a PC10. So I'm in the process of gathering the parts and to be able to convert one side of my red tent to a Play Choice 10. So I'm going to keep one side versus, and then the other side, I'll run a Play Choice 10. So if anybody's got a PC 10, got to have a single monitor PCB, I'm looking to acquire that. And then I'll have the wiring harness made by Tony Swan.
Right.
So I already have the PCB cage, which is the rarest part to get to convert your red tent to a PC 10.
Yeah, you
I
got
bought
that from
the gun.
John? Was it? John?
John Ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I got that from him. Other than that, I'm just waiting. The PCBs are so expensive. So before I have Tony make me a wiring harness that's kind of niche, I want to acquire all the things that I could at least sell off if I don't complete this project and not be stuck with a wiring harness that's kind of niche. Everybody wants to keep their piece, their red tent, both sides. But to be honest with you, talking with Orlando's Arcade, he's kind of right. It's only tennis and balloon fight that will allow you to play like your head-to-head and Wrecking Crew. Or you can have the versatility of a PC 10 and have enormous amounts of games and choices. So I just think it's pretty much what you're looking to get out of your system. So your choice.
Rob Fella says, interesting. I did not know that. I own 2 Play Choice. I have several versus boards, but don't play them. So your comments.
Now I was going to start playing them.
Yeah. Firing.
You want to sell those versus boards?
Yeah, I need at least one more. But yeah, if you get the PPU changer, you can pretty much select, just burn the ROMs you want, put the PPU changer in there, or just kind of look around and acquire the ones. There's, I think 04 is Super Mario Brothers, and only a few of the PPUs are kind of important. But it just kind of look at John's Arcade. He does a whole breakdown of the games and which PPUs they use.
If you go to johnsarcade.com, he has a whole listing of what they all do and what they're compatible with. Because
ones?
Having a versus is really fun. I have one too. I have the Multiversus Lite from High Score Saves, and I got into that and I made a video about it. I was like, this thing is the best thing. It's so easy to upgrade, so easy to understand. Then I went to John's to see all the PPU stuff. And then you just did the review. So another plug for your channel, like you were saying. Just go to Rob's channel. What's the name of it? It's just Rob Harker, right? I forget.
Yeah,
what
Robert
you named
Harker
your
on YouTube. Yeah, Robert Harker
so look
on
him
YouTube.
up. He just did a review on it, and he also had a restoration that he did his red tent, which came out like we think it's flawless. It looks beautiful. I mean, of course, when everybody's working with it, they're like, "Oh, I noticed a little piece of paint here is wrong." Only you will know
I
that.
did
We see it and we're like drooling.
That top piece, I didn't let it fully cure, so when I lifted up the lid, it pretty much just messed up the top.
It still looks
so
cool
I'm
though,
I'm
so
like,
check it out.
I
He
might-
has it up close. He does really good commentaries. I tell him all the time he thinks I'm full of crap, but I think his quality is really good.
Hey,
Nah,
Rob,
it's terrible, dude.
One last question from C Fella before we move on. He
Yep.
wants to know versus pinout the same as a single monitor Play Choice.
No, they're different. That's why you need another wiring harness, completely new, that separates each side. It's a different power supply, too. So if you do like convert your red tent, it's a single monitor. For the red tent, you need a single monitor power supply, which was different than the duals PC10s. Most of the people have dual monitor, like the old Punch Out, they converted to PC10s. 90% of the people out there have those. So that's why when I was looking for a power supply, they weren't really easy to find out there. So, but yeah, if you have a single monitor, Pinout's different, so sorry.
Cool. So I guess we all did our updates. Let's just jump right into it. So this all started with what? It probably started before Jay got his missile command, but it just kind of confirmed. I think it started, Jay, what did it start with? Like pole position, or was it turbo? It might have been with pole position, right? Somebody broke a world record.
Yeah, I think it was right after I got my pole position. And it was probably after we had come back from Fun Spot back in the spring, when the group of us that went up there and we had played some of the titles on cockpits or on cabarets, but then that sparked the interest in this topic right after I got my pole position. And like you said, that world record got set in the cockpit. And then the missile command, when I picked it up, we just kept kind of talking about it. And that was when we all kind of came up with the idea, like, let's, discuss this idea of form factor of cabinet and design over what can be done from a score if you play it on a full size versus a cabaret versus a cockpit versus a cocktail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the main idea that we had is that, a good example, upright versus cockpit. There's some, like, we'll talk about pole position right away since we just talked about it. I personally didn't realize till I went to the arcade vault in Morristown, New Jersey, and hung out with Dave, that the cockpit has a break in it. I had no idea this whole time that it had it, until he pointed it out. I was like, holy crap. So, the world record was just made in a cockpit, and everybody's really careful about shooting the inside. They go, okay, it's one camera, continuous shot. They show the dip switches, they do whatever, and showed it's an original board, but nobody ever shows that they didn't use the brake. I'm not saying he used the brake to break the world record. He told me, I asked him actually, he said he didn't. I can't remember the guy's name that did it. He was on Facebook. He posted it. I apologize for that. But he's saying to slow down, you actually just go over the edge to slow down on the white and red stuff, in order to do it. And because if you use the brake, you can't break the world record. But either way, that kind of sparked like, do they have a separate cockpit world record category versus the upright category, or is it all rolled into one? And when I looked on Twin Galaxies and Arcade, they basically had it as one. So how do you guys feel about that? Do you think it's worthy to... I mean, I'm not going to make a big stink about it, but it's just something just to think about, like, I never realized that there were different cabinet form factors for that.
My thought is, with pole position, for example, it's probably more comfortable to be sitting down. It's a little bit of an odd position when you're standing up with your foot, the way your foot is, so when you're sitting down, it's more of a comfortable position. Does that have, does that make it easier to get a better score? I'm bad at the game, so it wouldn't.
Well, I guess it's all relative, because I'm 6'2", and being inside a cramped little cockpit would be worse for me. But on the other hand, let's say you have Nibbler, right? That's like a marathon game where you have to stay up. It's like endurance based. In a cockpit, you could say you're more comfortable, but then you could fall asleep. You're very fatigued.
There's no Nibbler cockpit.
I'm just saying, like, when you're sitting and relaxing in a game that's a marathon game, it's harder to stay awake. So there's arguments on both sides, I guess.
Use Missile Command as that example, right?
Yep.
Missile Command, those are 30-hour marathon attempts when these guys really get into the game and they go for that score. And the video, I forget the name of the movie that you can watch with one of those more recent attempts on Missile Command. But he's sitting there at a full-size cabinet, sometimes on a stool, sometimes not. Would it be different if he was at a cocktail table where you're sitting comfortably in a chair and you can kind of rest your arms? And I would have to assume after 30 hours, I'd rather sit like that than at a full-size machine.
Aren't they just pulling up a stool anyways?
I mean, they're sitting, I've seen a lot of people just sitting there when they're doing marathons, but it's you can get up and stretch. You can do this, while you're playing it, but you can't really do that, if you're sitting down in a cockpit.
Plus,
you'd have to rush.
By the way, the Missile Command, I don't know if it's accurate or not. This is just my memory, but I seem to remember reading an Atari Age back in the 80s. They had the person's name, the high score, and the hours that they played. And for some reason, I remember it was like Missile Command was like 50 hours for the high score.
Like, there are some ridiculous, when you're talking like marathon high scores on Missile Command. Like I can't get past the 5th level, so there's no worry about me ever even bothering.
Yeah.
Like that's a special kind of arcade player that can sit there for 30, 50, 80 hours and just keep rolling, man.
Yeah, there's so many factors, but a lot of them, well, for Pac-Man, can't you like, I think Billy Mitchell does this where like he'll find the sweet spot where they can't kill you and he'll take like a bathroom break or something, come back, finish it up. You know, people just have to know the game really well where they know, okay, I have 10,000 men left, so I can let them die and I can take a half-hour nap. Like, it's crazy. But but still, it has nothing to do with form factor. But still, like you were saying, Missile Command, we'll stick on that game. The upright of, what is that, Jeff? You have one. Is it 3 inches? It has a huge black trackball.
I think
He's
it's
got one too.
4 inch.
No, it's bigger. It's 4 inch, right?
Yeah, it's a 4 inch ball.
Yeah, it's the one that Atari, the X and O football has. It's the same one.
Yeah.
That thing is heavy.
It is.
You
It's-
know,
it's hard to move.
So that takes more effort to like whale your arm. Like you have to have Popeye forearms to do that, to do like 50 hours on that versus the Cabaret that Jade has now. That's a 2 1/4 inch.
Yeah, it's
That's
2
super
1/4.
easy to move.
Yeah, it's much faster, more accurate, doesn't take as much effort. It's just like playing, Centipede. It's the same ball. You know, Jeff mentioned, the pole position cockpit before. I have the Star Wars upright. Jeff's got one he's working on. Troy's got one. Rob had one he got rid of. And about a year and a half ago, I finally got a chance to play the Star Wars cockpit. And I'm not tall. I'm a short dude. And the way that the angle of the yoke inside the cockpit is positioned, as I was sitting in it, it was like down around my knees, dude. And I could not play that thing for crap in the cockpit versus playing it on the upright. So I know that there was a difference.
Yeah, I could always practice and get one of those stools I use for my daughter. It's like a step stool. Then play the regular game and get used to it being normal instead of up here. I'm just kidding.
And like if you want to use Star Wars to take it a step further, my upright, I've got the ampliphone in it. The cockpit I played has the ampliphone in it, but I've played it with a 6100 in there. And to me, and I could be wrong, and it may just be a trick of my eyes, the image gets drawn differently and slower with the 6100.
Yes, I agree with that. It lags a little bit, so I feel it's easier on the 6100 if you were going for a world record versus the ampliphone. I mean, like you said, you had your side by side, so you saw how each one draws. So, but yeah, so that's the thing that we have to consider. But I guess we're being a little too critical. I mean, they're not for that. I don't think they're going to have 2 separate world record scores, but I feel like for the,
but it does have an effect. This is my point.
Yeah, but not as much as like the trackball on a Missile Command. Like to me, that's like huge.
Todd Tucky's in the house.
What's up, Todd?
There he is, TNT.
I need to actually pay that place a visit. It's in Pennsylvania. It's drivable. Actually, Jay, we could probably go to his house. We could go to your house in PA, your vacation home, and then just hop over to TNT Amusements. That'd be cool.
Thanks for the Atari stool, Todd. They're awesome.
I don't know.
You got that Pong one? Yeah.
That Apple.
Yeah, from Todd.
So
Those
I
things
don't
are
know
comfy.
if Todd heard the start of this conversation, but probably as the longest running person involved in this that's online with us right now. Todd, well, go ahead, Del. It's your channel. Why don't you explain to them what we're talking about?
So basically, we're talking about form factor. Like Missile Command's a perfect example. They have a Cabaret. I know you had a Cabaret collection, Todd. But that has a 2 1/4 inch trackball versus the upright, which is 4 inch. So there's guys that do world records marathoning on the game, but did they do it on the Cabaret or the upright? There's only one world record score. Is it really fair? Or should they really split it up into 2 different categories where it's Cabaret? It's not like somebody built a Cabaret on their own and did it and tried to cheat, but it's an official product. So what do you think? So that's what we're talking about.
And I think there's probably going to be some plus and minuses. Think about it. With the big trackball, you can kind of more precisely, stop the cursor, if you will. To to get it where you needed to go. But with the little 2 1/4 inch ball, it's fast, it's quick, but you kind of overshoot where you want to stop things at too.
You can, definitely.
So I mean, I guess there's kind of a give and take, you know.
There's also,
Yeah.
speaking of missile command, there's also, if I remember right, there's a dip switch setting where you could change the speed of the cursor. It's like fast cursor, so you have to move the ball just a little bit, and the cursor will whip across the screen. Or if it's in slow cursor mode, you gotta do it a few times to get the cursor to go across the screen. I
didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, but that's taken care of with the settings. It'll tell you like what the world record settings for the dip switches are. So everybody's using the
Brian
same.
Prober says he thinks the larger one has too much momentum, whereas he feels the smaller one has better control.
Right. So you have to work harder is my point is, if you're doing a marathon, you have to whip it, but then slow it down and,
but
and
then
that thing will pinch you just like the X and O ones did for football.
But so Todd actually just brought up another cool point, and he does feel that the type of cabinet will have an effect on the score, and he's using cocktails as just one example. And he says that if you look down on a cocktail screen, you can get reflections differently on the screen surface than you would, let's say, on an upright.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now we're splitting hairs with that because, like, it depends what lighting you have.
All those things have an effect, right?
That's why I will not buy a Donkey Kong cocktail for that reason, because I can't stand that they put the joystick on the side. I don't know who invented that, but it's not the same when you have to hit up, down, left, right. Left, right, I could probably deal with, or a spinner or something, but going up and down ladders, like literally up to the ceiling is up and down. It's weird to play. I like it being like at an angle or flat.
For missile command, I would like to hear what the world record holder, I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Tony Temple.
Yeah, Tony Temple. What he thinks, like, because he's got the world record on an upright. Maybe he thinks the upright is easier, and because that's what
point. Yeah,
That's exactly what I was
Or
gonna say.
what does he want to even let people know about that information? Like he might want to keep it like on the wrap so other people can't. People may be trying to kill his world record on the harder one, on the upright, which is harder.
If that's all you're used to playing, and all he's ever done is played it on the upright, and then let's say we put him onto my cabaret, he might play like crap on the cabaret, and vice versa.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, there's other factors like, well, is yours broken in versus not? So there's so many factors. They might be saying like, let's say I go to Fun Spot, right? I'm used to playing Zookeeper here at my house. I go to Fun Spot, and I'm like, man, I'm horrible at this game. Their joystick isn't lubed right, blah, blah, blah. That's part of the challenge of getting the high score, that you can go anywhere and dominate a game no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe they're taking the form factor into factor too. I don't know. So going back to Zookeeper, Donkey Kong, Arkanoid, joysticks, if somebody breaks a world record, right? Let's say on Zookeeper or Donkey Kong, and they're using like a replacement joystick that's not the original, does that count to you?
Yeah.
It's on the original PCB, right? Original machine, just the joystick was swapped out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Yeah, it counts, Jeff?
I would say, yeah, it counts, but probably the world record holders would say no.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't
they
know.
did give somebody slack for like, they turned their thing upside down to show inside. They opened up their thing, and somebody, I think Gibby was saying that somebody did that, right? That they saw that they weren't using the right joystick, and they're like, hey, and people pick on anything sometimes. It depends, I want it to be legit. That's why, like, I just bought a Zookeeper set because, maybe one day I'll break the world record. I could be hopeful. Who knows? But like, I don't want anything that's burned on there. Like, people are saying, oh, it's fine if you fix it. You can burn ROMs, have it repaired, whatever. But, people could say, well, what's on that chip? Did you put new code to make it easier so you can break the world record? Like, I don't want anybody saying that. So it's really weird. It's like a gray area for me. And then Arkanoid. Oh, go ahead. Who was talking?
They can come dump the ROM if that's the case. They want to check it.
Well, how do they know you didn't switch it at the last minute? You know,
I mean,
that's what I mean. People will use anything on the internet. See, it's so different now than it was years ago. Like somebody saw you do it in person, that's it. You know, they never even checked the machine. But now it's like you got the internet. Like, oh, I want to see a video of the back of it. I want to make sure it's legit. I want to send my guys out to look at it.
It's something that I never have to worry about because I suck at pre-playing.
It's true, right? It's like
So Barricade
but
says,
we do.
in his opinion,
Well, go ahead.
as long as the replacement is close to spec, or I guess as close to the original as possible, then he does not feel it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Your Nintendo joysticks have.
what I was worried about was like on Zookeeper on a board set that I was testing out and fixing for him. There's a ROM swap to get rid of the coin board on Zookeeper. My Zookeeper has that because I don't have the coin board in it because everybody took them out. Dell's board still had the original ROM, which will not work in his cabinet or my cabinet because neither one of us have the coin board. So in order to make it work in his cabinet, he's going to have to burn a new ROM.
Yeah, and 90% of the people have that too. That's the thing. 90%. Jeff, you're being covered by my face again.
So,
There you go.
Jeff likes
Sorry.
when you covered by your space.
but
Hey, this is a family show.
Game, right? So
Yeah, I agree, Troy.
I'm really gonna say you can't get a high score because you don't have a coin board.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And then what about the RAM too? I'm going to do the RAM swap on mine because I want to get the 4164s, which are more reliable.
Cheater.
You know, does that make it, you know, everybody likes to say fake bullshit, right? I love the Coin Rejects, by the way, if they're watching. Great show. So, you know, we say that all the time, you know, and I think really where this started, this whole conversation was me, when you guys were playing Turbo. I know Timmy has a cockpit. Jay, you had a Turbo that you finally traded. Troy, do you have one? I know Jeff has one.
yeah, I've got a Cabaret left.
Yeah, so like me and Rob, we're playing it on MAME. They're like, oh, MAME doesn't count. You can't even compete with us. But like, I want to play. I don't want to be the kid standing on the side. You know what I mean? So then they're like, yeah, that's fake bullshit. Blah 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 blah. And then J-Rock's, it's debatable. I guess it's FPGA, so technically it's not real hardware, but it is pretty accurate. Like I've sat in front of a machine that had both, you know, J-Rocks running for like Zookeeper, and I cannot tell the difference. And I'm really good at the game, so I don't know. It's all debatable. It's all relative. But they do have, I just checked today. I didn't realize, but they do have a board for like a high score table on Twin Galaxies for J-Rock. There's a category for J-Rock. There's not many games on it, obviously, because he only has a few boards, but it's there.
So what they're saying is it doesn't count as original. So just like MAME or anything else.
I guess they officially said it, but it wasn't. I don't remember seeing that last time I checked, but that was like a few months ago. So they may have just added that category or something.
No, Rob
But,
and Gibby Warren told you guys this earlier, but since you mentioned Twin Galaxies, I actually sent Walter Day a message today.
Hang on, hold that, Jay, hold that thought, because Rob was saying something related. What was it, Rob?
No, just one thing back to the joysticks. When you're talking about Donkey Kong, a game that's like so like popular with King of Kong and high scores and so competitive, I think that Nintendo joystick is unlike any other joystick. It's got a different. It feels different than Pac-Man, then a Midway, then a Witco. That stick is I think is very integral part of saying I got the world record for that. Maybe any of the other games like Pac-Man, maybe not so. I would probably give more leniency to, but with Nintendo games, you know, you can ask Fly Heck, who's world record holder on Excitebike. He can sit there and stand there and play that game for hours and then walk away and go to the bathroom and come back 30 minutes later because he racked up so many men. But he also plays sitting down on a red tank. So I think the joystick is integral when it comes to Donkey Kong. That isn't, say, Excitebike.
Yeah, a lot of people don't use that. They say that they're like, hey, is the joystick broken? I'm like, no, it's supposed to be like that. It's Nintendo.
It's the way it feels. It's got this.
Cool, so it does take a learning curve to play with that. So I agree. I think Donkey Kong should have the original. So now, real quick, back to Jay. You were saying that you actually emailed Walter Day.
Yeah, I sent Walter a message, and he hasn't answered it yet. But I basically wanted to ask him, you know, as the the godfather of Twin Galaxies. Like, how do you guys look at it, or how did you look at it regarding how scores are recorded? And does it make a difference based on form factor of the cab to how you guys input it into the database? And or did you ever even never consider it? So unfortunately, I haven't gotten an answer back from Walter yet today. We can always, update the video later on or put something on Dell's website, if and when we get Walter's opinion on this.
Yeah, I could put it in the comments. I could sticky the comment once he, responds. I'm sure it's not him. I mean, you emailed him today. So
Yeah.
it's not like he did it a week ago and he blew you off or something. I'm sure he's just super busy or whatever. But yeah, so I did contact, there was somebody talking about, I think it was on Clav, where, who was it? I can't remember who it was, but anyway, they were saying that they were trying to plug a trackball controller for track and field into a regular track and field harness, and it's supposed to be plug and play, and it's kind of a way to cheat a little bit because you can just whip the trackball and get full speed and then jump and not worry about it. But he was saying that from what he knows, in Europe, there's some boards there that they have a separate score for the joystick version of track and field. I'd never heard of a joystick version before until he said it. But he said that there's one that has, it has a joystick where you go left and right to go fast, and then it has a button to press. And then there's another one that's joystick only that you go left and right and either up or down to jump, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, he's the record holder in that game and the master at that game. So, it'd be cool actually to follow up on this and invite him in or something and have him talk about it.
And back to a point you made earlier, Dell, Omega Mark says, and none of us are worried about this, Mark. I'll just tell you that now. Like Jeff said,
Jeff said,
if you go for the world record, get as much original hardware as possible, so there is no question in the future. And I would agree 100%.
Yeah, totally true. So what other game did I have on here? We had so we did track and field, we did pole position, Star Wars we talked about. What's that?
Omega Race. That's
well, what's different about that?
Well, cockpit versus the upright.
Oh yeah.
There's
Yeah,
also
but still,
a,
I mean the controls are the same.
Yeah, but I don't know, dude. Like in the cockpit, you're sitting with the spinner down on your side. It's not dead center of you on the control panel where you can lean over it. I mean, Troy's got the cockpit, Jeff's got the upright.
Yeah.
That's
Speaking
like
of Jeff, well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that's like the cockpit of Star Trek. That one is so cool. Like it's just your
the captain's chair.
The spinner feels it's just like so comfortable, right? And right in your arm, it's like in the perfect spot, like on your armrest.
And Omega Race is the same way. I love it. I mean, you can just sit in there and it's very comfortable. It's a really small, compact cabinet, but to me, it's very comfortable. And I'm 6 foot tall, so I don't feel.
Yeah, I'm 6'2" also. When I went to Troy's house, I played it, and I'm like, this is really cool. Yeah.
Sprint Star said, I actually like this. Sprint Star says, you could say that you have immersion or less distraction in a cockpit versus an upright. So as a total,
I agree with the immersion.
I agree because whenever we're at Cratercade and I get friggin' tired and you guys are all doing your thing with Troy, sometimes I'll sneak off to Omega Race and I'll sit in there with my eyes closed. It's definitely immersion.
All right, so race driving. I know
when they had the what was it, the Grink Fest? People were actually sleeping in it.
Yeah, there's some people fell asleep because they were drunk too on consoles.
In Omega Race.
Yeah. You said race driving.
Yeah, so race driving is the sequel to hard driving, right?
Yep.
And you said you can do pretty well on that, right? That you can make it go on forever and stuff.
That's one.
Command the Line has another really good point. People hovering over your shoulder when you're standing on an upright versus being in a cockpit where they are not hovering over your shoulder.
But I like that though. I like when people are like when I was a kid, I used to play Dragon's Lair and I'd get to the end and all the people are standing around like looking over your shoulder. It was like such a great feeling. Like everybody's watching me play. I'm doing great. Yeah.
You just like people whispering in your ear, Jeff.
Yeah.
And just so people that don't know Jeff, he's like Mr. Dragon's Lair. Mr. Dragon's Lair project. You know, him and a couple guys, they created that site. What, back in the 90s, wasn't it?
97, long time ago. Almost
Been
25.
around a long
Well,
time.
just like Jay over here, Kapow, he has Jay. Show your shirt. Say something, so he'll show you.
Oh yeah.
What would Jeff Kinder do? On the back is a Jeff Kinder Fallout Boy.
Yeah. So basically, we always are.
If you order now, you won't just get one Jeff Kinder doll, but you'll get two.
No, I don't endorse that at all. But anyway, it says Delusional's Roundtable on his shirt there because, we created it ourselves and we hung out during the pandemic and we said, hey, let's go live with the show. It'd be really cool. We talk about some cool stuff. And I do have, we tried recording it at first. It's too much to edit and too hard. So I said, let's just do it live. We'll just figure out how to do it. So here's where we are. But Jeff, he does run the DLP project, this Dragon's Lair site that has everything you got to know. I mean, it's run by other people too. There's a lot of contributors there. He's not the only guy that does everything. There's a lot of behind the scene people that work really hard. But he basically knows that game inside out and created that site. And then, we have the shirt because Jeff is amazing, right, Jeff? We'll show you here. You're amazing at doing everything. When it comes to restore, he'll restore like 3 games in 1 week. And we're like, Jeff, where do you have the time to do this, man?
Beast mode.
Well, that was the joke.
Beast
It
mode,
was like,
exactly.
all right, guys, we have this problem or this, or how we tackle this. And it was kind of like, what would Jeff Kinder do? And that was the gist of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And the rest is history.
Well, it was either going to be what would Jeff Kinder do, or I could have used Jeff Kinder last Thursday night because Timmy broke a Dragon's Lair at free play and said, man, I could have used Jeff Kinder on Thursday night.
Oh, okay. So it would have been for
We
that.
can twist that whichever way we need to.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to get back on subject here. So race driving, is there a difference between the cockpit and the upright, Jeff, that you know of?
I'm that's one of the few games that I'm really good at, race driving, and in my opinion the upright is unplayable. It is completely different, the way the car handles, the way the steering works, because there's some on the cockpit there's some really wicked force feedback on the steering wheel, and it's just completely different on the upright, and like I'm horrible at the upright. But
I remember we talked about this once before with this game.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had an upright until you said it, Jeff.
Now, I'm trying to remember, was there a different upright? Like I've got one that's considered the compact, which is still big as shit. Oh, sorry. Big
Stuff.
Big game.
Yeah, no, there's only
I
one.
don't know if we're family friendly tonight or not. Sorry.
It's only
No, we're fine.
there's only one upright. But yeah,
Barricade says the monitor is different between the upright and the cockpit.
maybe medium res versus standard res. I don't know.
I mean, it's raster either way, right? So there's no refresh issue that you have to worry about, I don't think.
But doesn't the upright have a seat you sit down in?
It does.
Like a little bench seat?
It's like
Some of them have it, some of them don't, right? It's detachable.
that's APB. This is it's kind of like
built in.
something you lean against.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or no, it is. Yeah, on that.
Yeah, it's built in. All right.
It's built. Yeah,
I can't remember. Yeah.
but
Still, that's one game. See, you're good at. You said you can just go on forever and just keep looping it and looping it.
the cockpit, I could play it for hours. I could, it does have a bug in it where when you get to a certain point, like any games like pole position, I think pole position, shouldn't say that, but the more you go around, the less time you have, the lower, the time just kind of gets less and less. And that holds true on race driving. You do a lap and then you finish it, and when it gives you bonus time, it's let's just say a minute 10, and the next time you do a lap it drops down to a minute 8, and then a minute 6, and it just keeps going lower and lower and lower. But then you get to a point at about like 1,000,000 points where it'll stay that same time. So you do a lap and then you'll start the next lap with the same amount of time, and then you do that for a few laps, and then after that, it'll start gaining a second. So you'll go around again, and then you'll have another second, and then, 2 more seconds. And it just keeps building time, building time, building time. So if you can just keep going around without crashing, which me and my friend Carlo would do, you would just play for hours. And that's what we would do. We would just sit there and play the game for hours at a time. I think
that game's not score based, is it? Like you can't get like a high score.
My high score was I forget. I haven't looked at Twin Galaxies in a while, but last time I looked at it, I think it was like 600,000, the high score, the first place, the world record. But I had like 4.5 million, and every time I played it,
holy crap,
we had to stop. Like we were at the mall, at the arcade at the mall, like we're there all afternoon on a Saturday afternoon. I'm like, all right, I gotta go. I can't. So I never marathoned it, till I couldn't play anymore. But it was just 4 hours was like a normal game.
On 1 quarter?
Well, it was $1 when that game came out.
It was $1.
Yeah, that's one of those specialty games.
But yeah, it was
My favorite thing about that game back in the day was the key that you had to turn.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was
To
like,
start.
that's the coolest thing ever. Yeah.
And it's funny, hard driving, the original one, the one before that, I'm bad at. I'm not good at hard driving. I was just way better at race driving. I haven't played race driving in probably 15 years, so I'd probably be pretty bad at it now, just getting into it. But I'm sure it would come back to me. Just remembering all the speed. Like I knew every speed, the max speed at every corner that you'd be in. Because you definitely could not keep the gas pedal floored. You had to back off. You had to slow down. You had to be, certain speeds on certain corners and stuff like that. So there was there was definitely some science to it, but it was fun.
Very cool.
Nice. So the other game I had is Monaco GP. Obviously, I thought for some reason that because the shifter's on the left on that, right? It's the European version. Versus the shifter being on the right for the US. For cars in general, like they're all on the left, and I can never play Monaco GP or Turbo because of that. But for some reason, I thought that it was different. I don't know why. I just did.
I will say, when we went to Fun Spot back in May, when Troy and I went up, and we went up there with Mike and Brian. I played Monaco GP in the cockpit, and I also played Turbo, and I loved it. I thought it was so much better in the cockpit than in the upright or the cabaret like I had at the time.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit because we're running out of time, because I wanted to end it around, I'll say 11-ish, but we're having so much fun here. So the last thing I wanted to end it on was glitches. So what do you guys think of if glitches should be allowed? For example, the Phoenix glitch, right? You can get 200,000 when you get like the 2 birds that fly on the second screen. Should that be allowed if the program lets you do it? Or some people ban it, like, nah, that's cheating. What do you guys think about that?
Isn't there a scoring glitch in Missile Command that 800,000 points or somewhere around there goes to 1 million? I forget. I think I remember reading that.
I haven't heard that one.
I'm sure only you would know, because like all that crap, Jeff.
Again,
when it comes to scoring.
Yeah, I would never get to that 800,000 points on Missile Command, but I seem to remember reading that somewhere. There was a bug in the scoring of Missile Command around that.
Oh. Well, there's blatant cheating too that you could do on Marble Madness. Remember, you told us that if you're an operator and you go inside and you flick the test switch back and forth, and you press it at a certain time, you can get unlimited time in Marble Madness.
Yep.
That should not be allowed, because that's like cheating. Because but like if the game, for example, go back to Zookeeper, like you're not allowed to jump up and down on platforms to get infinite score. It's really hard to do. I think they should allow it, because if you do it, you should deserve to get killed, because it's super hard to do and you're risking your life, and it's not worth it when you could just get bigger jumps later. But they ban people doing that. If they do that, you get disqualified.
Oh.
So, yeah, I don't know why they put stuff like that in there. I know Mr. Do, for example, I'm kind of on the fence with this, but the title version, it's funny you're wearing a title shirt now, but the title version of Mr. Do has a bug in it that if you let the apple fall when you die, you can actually get 256 lives. There's like a glitch where it goes to the next level and it flips past 256, so you get 255 lives. So that obviously shouldn't be allowed because then you can cheat and play forever. But other glitches, like I think the Richie Knuckles, Jay, when you were there when he showed us, he had like that glitch in the Japanese version of Donkey Kong.
Yeah, the Japanese.
Yeah, where you can't get killed. Well, you can get killed by time, but the barrels will not come down on you if you go like
halfway
right
up.
at the top. Yeah, halfway up, and you stick your hand out or whatever, and the barrels just go past you and never come down. It's pretty amazing to see, but like everything else, I mean, exploits, I call them. I mean, are they allowed?
The glitch that's in Miss Pac-Man where you can hide or Pac-Man in the corner and face one way, and they'll just keep going around and around. They'll never go after you.
Yeah, but I think that's allowed because it doesn't affect your score at all.
But it is
just
still
kind of pausing the game.
Take a break.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a trick.
I like the one.
Yeah, so that's
Paperboy. There's a glitch where you get like over 1 billion points. Actually,
I don't have to worry about that, Jeff.
All of the System 2 have a similar glitch. 720 has one, Championship Sprint has one, APB has one, and Paperboy has one, and the scoring goes into the billions. I only know how to do the one on Paperboy. I kind of had an idea how to do the one on 720. I've never seen the one done on Championship Sprint, but my machine, the top place scores in the billions on it, so I know it exists. But it's kind of.
So you don't know the sprint bug? Because somebody's saying they have the sprint, they want to know what it is.
Yeah, I wish I knew it. I don't know what it is, but I know it exists.
Isn't 720 then in the half pipe? The way you come down and then there's a certain...
That's what I heard. I remember hearing somebody, and this was back when the game came out. Something about on the half pipe, and you go and you wind up on the roof of the building, and something.
You know who would know that? Richie Knuckles would know that because he loves the game. Yeah, you can probably Google it. Like
YouTube. Someone's YouTube video shot it how to do it.
Really?
And that's the other thing.
Last time I looked on YouTube for 720 bugs, it wasn't the one that I followed.
I believe John's talked about it a long time ago in his videos when he got 720.
Sprint Star says that Battlezone has a score bug that gives you a bunch.
Battlezone.
And now I'm very interested because that's
because you want to cheat.
What's the score bug?
I don't know. He says there's a high score bug for Battlezone, and my Battlezone.
So I'll tell you what. Don't tell Kapow.
All right.
No, I want to say real quick. Don't tell Kapow. Email me delsarcade@gmail.com. That way, when I go to his house, I can put my high score in his game, and he'll go nuts for months, going, "How the hell did you do this?"
They talked about it in the old Arcade Outsiders podcast. So go ahead and listen to all 80 episodes there, Kapow, and then get back to us.
Yeah, it's probably not going to.
It's in one of those.
Sprint Star says it's on Club. I'm going to have to look for it.
Yeah.
And then Brian Frober says that GAC would probably know the bug for 720.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. I'll have to.
I'll ask him.
Oh, I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
You can ask him. You don't know.
GAC is cool.
Chris have a 720, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I can't even fake it. Not even on main. There's no control for it. Like, what are you gonna do? People build them, but I'm not doing that. Richie Knuckles. When I went to his arcade, he would totally know. He loves 720. That guy's good at every game, but 720 he's awesome. He's able to go like to the upper right corner. He'll do like one of the courses, and he'll like qualify and get tons of points where he can skip certain parts of the board because he already qualifies for it. Instead of having to like slowly get all those points, he gets it all in one shot, like by doing something on the half pipe. What's that, Jay?
Talking about 720 with Richie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there. We were at his arcade. I'm sitting there like jerking off playing 720, and I can't even get down the slalom. And Richie came over and was like, "Hey, let me show you how to do that," and pushed me out of the way and was like, "Buzz, buzz."
Yep.
How's that go? Do that again.
No, you only get one buzz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's really good at stuff. He texted me the other day. He finally bought a burner, and he has a whole bunch of boards that he wants to see what they are. He has no idea what they are. So the easiest way is to dump the ROM and then check it with the ROM So cool. All right. So anybody else have any questions in chat? I'm actually looking at it now. I have a whole screen dedicated to it now.
Brian said there's a bee hack in 720. I did see that on YouTube.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
There's actually a ROM set you can get that takes the bees out now.
Really?
Really?
Where?
Oh
No.
my God.
Yeah, if you look
That's
it up,
terrible.
Rob, you can actually, there's a ROM like that, a revision you can download that will remove the bees.
Yeah, because I
Oh,
wish they
okay.
just had an option to take them out where you can just kind of have fun skating around the park. That'd
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah, I wanted to do a video on that. Maybe we should make it live where we all talk, because Jeff is like the plethora. Like he knows everything about what bug goes. Like I had never heard of the Marble Madness bug. Me and Tim, right? And Timmy's like, I got to try that on a machine. So I tried it on MAME because I have fake bullshit, right? I tried it on MAME. It does work on MAME.
And then we tried it on mine and it worked.
And it worked. Yeah. So like he knows all these secrets. We're like, what? We never heard of that. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah. So there's so many games that have like Easter eggs in them, you know. Yeah. I think it was cool that people did that.
What was that, Gibby?
Said, you know, Jeff's always claiming he's not very good at playing games, but he knows all the secrets and all the hacks.
Jeff's
That's
a
'cause he
BS
cheated.
Artist, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, like,
Sandbag.
I don't know how to fix anything. I'm not good at this.
Y'all
Girls,
fix it for me. but then he's the
Nice.
encyclopedia.
All right, cool. So I guess we'll end on that because is there any other games that people in chat you think is unfair? You have an unfair advantage with world records or high scores? You know.
oh, yeah, that's a whole
And I
different.
want to
I think all games.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
some-
I also want to promote. We have that app. What is it called? Arcade Sidekick. That's on iOS or Android, and we all use that. There's actually a Dell's Arcade group that we have on there. So if you want to join it, you can see what we're scoring and try to compete with us. You can get notifications if we beat your score. It's pretty cool. It's like, how much is it? It's like under $5, right?
$2.99.
$2?
$1.99.
Yeah, and it's really cool. You know, there's a lot. Not only my group there, but there's other groups there that it shows worldwide of people that have, you know, beaten scores, and it's all on the honor system. You know, there's no way really to take pictures and stuff. For us, I usually show a picture first and then post it, but we really don't care. You know, we know that if we're good or bad at it. It doesn't matter. It's all for fun, but it's a really cool app. I'm trying to think. Rich, is it Rich Rumsey
yeah, Rich.
that does the
Yeah,
game?
Rich. Yep.
Yeah, and you know, I'll point him to this this live show so he can kind of, you know, promote himself. But it's really cool, and he does listen to feedback. He's on Twitter, and you know, if you want a game added, he'll add it usually the same day, sometimes the next day. You know, if you don't see the game in there, because I give him clones and bootlegs all the time that I have like Space Pilot. He added that right away. So cool.
Brian Frober
Yeah, it's
says,
$2.59. I see that on Android.
I mean, it's a little
Ah.
slow connecting to a server and everything, but it's really fun just to everybody keep their scores together and see where we're at. We all suck, but you know.
Yeah, I had him at
It's cool
Ice
for
Climber
tournaments too.
and Pac-Man Jr. last weekend.
hey, welcome on board, Red Horse Adventures.
Ah. We need to
We
get
need a
drunk
drunk
pole
pole
position
position
linked. Nice.
So drinking and driving we can actually do.
So yeah, we'll do the last
Outrun's
Q&A
best
now.
for that.
Someone's asking how much are Die Hard Arcade Titan
I
Cabs
just
worth.
said not much, like $400 or $500.
You think so?
Well, it kind of depends.
Is that like that Duramold type cabinet that's kind of
No,
plasticky?
Friggin' ugly.
It's a
Boy's got one in the warehouse.
It's an STV. It's a multi-cart. type thing.
STV.
1
Yeah.
or 12?
Yeah. So I don't see
Not
any
an
other questions. But I appreciate everybody coming here. Thanks again, Scarlet Sprites, for stopping by. And I don't think he's here now. He said he'd swing by real quick. Oh, yeah, here he is. He says, thanks for the discussion tonight. And thanks for the donation. We use it towards everything. I actually got my camera here. You know, everything's out of pocket for this thing. I do it as a hobby. I don't expect anything. But it's really good to have people do that so then it can help bring more content to you guys. So that's it for tonight. So thanks again for watching, everybody. If you guys want to subscribe, if you like what you see, Dell's Arcade is where I would go to subscribe, right, everybody? And I'm also on Twitter. And then, of course, I'm on Instagram, and I always post pictures of my projects. Sometimes I'm super busy between family and work, and I can't get to stuff. So I'll post pictures to at least give you guys, a little thing that, hey, I'm still in the hobby. I'll never give it up, and I'm still alive. So, but that's basically it. Thanks again, guys. You guys, Rob. I don't know where Mike went. Where's Mike? I wanted Mike to be here today to be part of the discussion, but he'll be on future shows. He's been on other ones. Check it out. I have playlists. Just look for, the Dell's Arcade under there. You'll see Dell's Roundtable, and it has this is episode 5 that we're doing. But I think it's really successful. What do you guys think? Do you have a good time? Of course. We all have a good time every time we hang out.
5 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the
because it's
outro
number
music?
5. I just like to look at Jeff's hair.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't have outro music, but I do have a slate with Richie Knuckles on it, which I want to get. I want to get a lot of people on the show.
Never gonna give you one.
Yeah.
Never gonna say.
So I'll show you guys a little preview real quick. I'm
we're
gonna switch
rolling,
my.
man. Oh man.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you
I'll
copyright.
switch my
claim by
monitor over
singing
here.
Rick Astley.
So this is my my future workstation where I can do videos. I'll have this lit up here, and you can see my hands are here. I can work on stuff live. So I'm gonna have more live videos where I do cap kits and stuff, and I will have a giveaway in the future from Arcade Parts and Repair to celebrate my 5,000 subscribers, and because it's the holiday season, I like to give. So I'm gonna give away $100 worth of stuff on there that you can use to get parts yourself and all that other good stuff. Let me go ahead and shut this off here and switch back over here. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks to our guys for putting up with my crap. They're like, oh, we have to do this live again. Oh, we're doing another test, you bastard, But thanks so much for doing all that. I really appreciate everybody. So, all right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Later.